call the meeting of the Board of Public Works to order. Would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Shea?
Present.
Commissioner Lemon?
Present.
Commissioner Gregg?
Present.
Commissioner Spedia?
Presente.
Mayor Donches?
Here.
And Alderman O'Brien.
Present. Okay. All right, the item 2, the agenda. Commissioner Shea.
I move to approve the agenda as submitted.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
May I make just a couple of
Yes.
comments? I just want you to bring your attention to the fact that this is a goldenrod copy, and we have added the improvement of the agreement that you heard about earlier with the Boys and Girls Club for the renovation of the street hockey court. And we'd also like to pull motion C from under the Parks Department. We'll be discussing that, and this requires further discussion, so we'll hopefully be bringing that forward at another time. And the only other thing I was going to ask you Mayor, and the board, is would it be okay to go out of order after public comment, of course, and take up the approval of the Boys and Girls Club agreement? Mr. Fitzgerald can
Yes,
go home, if that's okay.
we'll do that.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Item 3, Commissioner Lemon.
I move to approve the minutes of the Board of Public Works meeting of July 24th, 2025.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Public comment. Is there any member of the public who would like to address the board? All right, we'll go to wastewater. Item A, Commissioner Spedia.
Oh, no, special order.
Oh, yeah, sorry. We're supposed to take item C from
A.
Parks Department? No, wait, item C from which department?
Item A from Parks.
Item
go
A
out
from
of
Parks,
order.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take up item A from Parks before we do wastewater.
And I'll speak to it if I may.
Commissioner Gregg.
A motion to approve the user warrants as presented?
No, we're on
Oh,
item
I'm
Parks
sorry, which order
Department.
did we go in?
Sorry, Parks Department, motion A.
I'm so sorry. I motion to approve I motion to approve the agreement with the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Nashua for the renovation and use of the street hockey court. That's right, we went out of order.
All right.
So I want to apologize in advance. You have not seen this agreement, but it's literally hot off the press today. And we want to move this forward. The Boys and Girls Club of Greater Nashua have offered a very generous donation of $440,000 to help revitalize the street hockey court. And in exchange, they will be using the court between 12 to 15 hours per week. And we will be negotiating that time at a later date. They'll also be putting up a sign that will be thanking some of the sponsors who have graciously donated to this project. So, and that's really it in a nutshell. The planning department and the risk department have reviewed this, and our legal department and all are happy with it.
This is the same proposal that we saw, the really good, with the
Yes.
really lovely looking new court.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so they were here a few weeks ago, or a meeting or two ago, I don't know. All right, any discussion? Alderman O'Brien.
Yeah, I would just like to say that at last night's infrastructure meeting, Mr. Fitzgerald did graciously show up and brief the infrastructure committee on it. And although it did not go to a vote on the committee, it seemed to be very warmly received. And of course, right along the lines, anything that's going to improve the quality, for the youth, get them off the street to do something. I was a former hockey player myself, so I'm partisan to the issue. But I don't know, putting knives on your feet and sticks in your hand, but it's a hell of a game. So I think this will be very, very good for the community. There was just one question to which Mr. Conant of Parks and Recreation did help in answering. Alderman Sullivan did say, well, why are we in the infrastructure committee involved in everything? And didn't clearly understand that this property is a little bit on city property. So that's why it came to us and everything. So once that was explained very well by Mr. Conant, that was it. That was the only concerning factor. So I can say without a vote, I think he got infrastructure support.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Commissioner Shea?
I think this is excellent. I have a question about the release of liability and then also holding the certificate of insurance with the city as additionally insured. I just wonder if there's a misalignment there. Risk has reviewed it, so I imagine not, but if I did not ask, I would feel like
So this continues to be a city asset that will be maintained on a day-to-day basis. When the Boys and Girls Club are using it, they'll sweep up and do that sort of thing, but the heavy maintenance will be done by the Parks Department, and they'll continue to oversee it. So
No, I just mean the liability
Oh.
piece. So in the agreement,
Yep.
we both require them to provide us with a certificate of insurance listing. The city is additionally insured. And then also in the agreement, we basically assign all liability to the city, it looks like.
Yeah, I know, I can tell you that our Risk Department and Legal Department have both reviewed and approved the
Okay.
contract, so.
All right. Yeah, I
Not
won't,
an expert
I won't
on
hold up my support for this today. And that may be a non-issue, just the way that the language is might be adequate. It just struck me as the only thing in there that was worth asking about.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, anyone else? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Now we'll go back to the regular order of agenda, wastewater.
Thank you.
Item A, Commissioner Aspetian.
Move to approve the user warrants as presented.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item B, Commissioner Shea.
I move to approve the repairs of the screening and disinfection facility drain chamber hydraulic system by New Hampshire Hydraulics of Merrimack, New Hampshire, in an amount not to exceed $79,650. Funding will be through Department 169 wastewater, fund wastewater, account classification 54, property services.
So Superintendent couldn't be here. He's actually on vacation today. But this is actually a gate that needs to be repaired. And this is the gate that actually lets the water slowly flow to the plant. So it's a very important piece of the screening and disinfection facility. And New Hampshire Hydraulics will be repairing it.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, now we're on to the street department. Item A, Commissioner Lemon.
I move to approve the sole source purchase of asphalt and aggregates from Brock's Industries of Hudson, New Hampshire, and Continental Paving of Londonderry, New Hampshire, in the amount of $147,000. Funding will be through Department 161 Streets, Fund General, Account Classification 61, Supplies and Materials.
So I'll speak to this, Mayor. Superintendent Bear is not with us this evening either. This is just our annual purchase of asphalt and aggregates. We use Brock's and Continental partly because of their close proximity. And we do often use, you'll notice that Brock's was a little bit higher than Continental, but Brock's is open much earlier and stays open later in the season. So that's why we use both of them.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next, now item B, Commissioner Aspetian.
Move to approve change order number 3 to Markings, Inc. of Pembroke, Massachusetts, in the amount of $162,000. Funding for this contract is through Department 161 Streets, Fund General, Account Classification 54, other services.
I can speak to this, Mayor. This is our annual pavement marking contract. This is year 3 of using Markings, Inc. So They have done a good job, and they have stayed within, we can renew a contract for 3 years as long as they're within 10%, and they, I think, gave us an increase of 7% this year. So we would like to go with Marking Inc. for this coming year.
Okay, anyone? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Now we're on to the Parks Department. We've already covered item A, so now we will go to item B. Commissioner Gregg.
I move to approve the purchase of a 2025 light structure system with Total Light Control TLC for LED technology from Musco Lighting Systems. The total cost is $815,000 pursuant to the Sourcewell contract number 041123-MSL. Funding will be through Department 177 Parks Fund Bond Activity Home and Stadium Improvements.
Good afternoon, everyone. Park Superintendent Brian Conant. This is to replace the lights at Holman Stadium. The current lights there were installed in 1948. This will include decommissioning those lights, the removal of those lights, and the new installation of this, the lighting material from Musco. I think this is going to be a great start into the improvements that we're going to be doing at Holman Stadium, and I'd be happy to answer any questions on this if there are any.
When do you think this will be done?
So we still have to take this through the Finance Committee, Mayor, and I've been told from the vendor that after we create a purchase order, it'll be a 10-week lead time on materials. So I think a little bit of this is going to be weather dependent. I've seen them install lights during the winter over at Labine and the softball field over there, but I do think if it gets a little too cold, it could be problematic. So we'll see. But the 10-week lead time, you know, that kind of puts us towards the end of November, I think, at this point, beginning of December. So.
Okay. Anyone? All those in favor of the motion?
Commissioner Shea.
Commissioner Shea.
Thank you very much. Do you have any idea on the power efficiencies of this system versus what we've got now? I imagine there's going to be a pretty big savings.
I would imagine there would be a big savings. These are going to be LED lights. The current lights we have right now are metal halogen lights. So it's a lot more cost to run those old lights
Might be
currently
like
right now.
1/10 the cost or something.
I don't know
Yeah.
exactly what it is, but I'm sure it's drastic.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there was like a payback period within the lifetime of this to just, you know, take it out of the electric bill and effectively cover it. So that's great. That's all. I was just curious if there was any percentage thrown at you by the manufacturer, the vendor. But cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
We now have item C of the Parks Department.
What, where?
Oh, that we already dealt with. Or did we?
No,
We did not.
Yes, we're waiting on that. So we'll go to engineering. Item A, Commissioner Shea.
I move to approve the sewer service permits and fees as submitted.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item B, Commissioner Lemon.
I move to approve the poll license petition as listed in the staff report.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item C, Commissioner Aspitia.
Move to approve a drain layers license for WP Davis Excavation LLC of Hampton, New Hampshire in accordance with Nashville City Code 255-19, issuance of drain layers license, and authorize the Division of Public Works to temporarily suspend the license if work is found to be unsatisfactory during an initial 6-month probationary period.
Good evening, Dan Hudson, City Engineer. So fairly standard approval. WP Davis is known to the city, done work for us before, so they're a reputable contractor. Don't expect any issues, but we do like to issue these initially with a 6-month probationary period, just in case, but we would recommend approval of this.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Item D is an informational item. So now we will move to administration. Item A is the library, the walk behind the library. I think the director is going to cover this.
Well, I think this is actually something that Commissioner Shea had asked to
Okay.
put on the agenda, so if you'd like to start, Commissioner Shea, then we can.
Yeah, I really appreciate, making space on the agenda tonight for open discussion about this area. It's been a problem area for some time. The issues ebb and flow there. I went out with my boys sometime last week for a nice walk. I wanted to show them the Riverwalk progress and kind of give them a real-world idea of what I do here, because they have, they know the title, and they call me Commissioner Daddy and stuff like that for fun.
Can we call you that?
If you'd
Commissioner
like.
Daddy?
It doesn't have the same ring to it. But yeah, so we're out there kind of cruising around, and as we come around the pedestrian bridge alongside the rail bridge, it was shocking how bad it is down there. There are beds, there are couch cushions, there are empty tubs that look like they were once filled with donated items that were maybe picked through and then the remainder left. There were many, many beer cans. There were bandage supplies. When I referred to medical waste, it was somebody's bandages and things like that. I did not see needles down there, though there is a lot of stuff. So it's entirely within the realm of possibility. There was a woman who was asleep. She had her shirt up over her belly. She was wearing boxer shorts and a camisole. She had a cigarette in her hand. It was like it went out by itself with the safety stuff. Having a conversation about the challenges of housing security and mental health with my kids was something I would have to have eventually, but it wasn't something I was prepared for that day. And my oldest, he's 8, he was very affected by it. And just the general conditions of that space are beyond unfortunate. I don't believe that we have a caretaking plan in place for that space. It's unclear to me who is responsible for that space. And I understand that maybe there's some complexity that was found between the beginning of the week and now regarding this Parks Department item. If you could speak a bit more to that, that would be appreciated. It is a beautiful, it could be a beautiful space. It could be some space for people to go and enjoy. Right now it's scary, like scary and sad and upsetting. And so short of going around to individual people and talking about it, which I feel like we've been doing for many years now, thinking about and looking to this space and raising it every now and again, I wanted to have an open discussion about it and see if any other commissioners or the mayor, director, departments have any insights on what we can do and how we can advance that. So I think that's all I've got to say.
It's.
Yeah, if I may, and it was mentioned last night in infrastructure from Administrative Director Tim Cummings, and what you say is true, being on the fire departments in many neighborhoods, you know what I mean? I do remember one time going to an encampment, and actually it could have been in a Boy Scout handbook, very well designed and everything, but they're throughout the city. But focusing on this area, we come to find out that the library building itself, we got to make a decision, infrastructure-wise, and on the Board of Aldermen to look at it. Do we want to invest into the current structure, which doesn't meet the heating needs and parking and everything, and at the same time, we're looking at doing the Court Street, plaza and fixing that. But that's going a little bit on the back burner because we got to find out what the Library Commission wants to do with that. And so maybe that whole general area that you have identified, yes, right now, definitely an eyesore, but that might be an overfill. And I wish Mr. Cummings was here to properly explain it, but that could be, brought up. And if I may say, some of that area has a historical significance to the city. For me being former member on the fire department, but that was ground zero for the Great Crown Hill Fire, down around that area. So I don't know, but it's not an answer to what you bring up right now. But I think as we peel the layers going in the future, that could be compensated.
All right, so the cleanup needs to be handled by the risk department because there are needles and everything, so Public Works.
I don't see any.
What?
I did not see any needles down there, so.
You've looked, right? Or,
No, I have not been down
well,
there.
assuming that there's stuff that's not sanitary, I think the risk department is already arranging the cleanup, so thank you for
Yes.
pointing out the problem. But usually these cleanups are handled by contractors because of the unusual material that's found and the hazards that are associated with it. So we think that'll be done pretty soon, and it's not the first time that, Risk has paid for one of these.
It's actually planned, Mayor, for, I found out today, September 12th. The cleanup.
Is that something the community can engage in, or is that a contractor coming down to do this?
It's a
This is-
contractor.
Yeah, this is a
Okay.
contractor. So I was just going to say, we have a homeless problem here in Nashua, and there's a group, but we meet regularly. Public Health, of course, it leads the way, but PD is very involved. Public Works we do a fair amount of cleanup ourselves when we think it's safe for our staff, when we can use equipment rather than sort of, exposing our staff to what could be, things like feces and needles and medical stuff. So when we're concerned about that, we have Risk will step in and hire a professional company that is trained to deal with that type of material. So, but we've done a fair amount of cleanups. Public Works has with it when we can do it with equipment, and we continue to do that. And we continue to meet on a regular basis to try to, to talk about it. There's no easy solution, and Public Health is definitely in charge of this endeavor, but we support them as much as we can, as well as the PD. But I'm sorry, I was just going to say one more thing, Commissioner Lemon. To your point, Commissioner Shea, I think reaching out to LaTanya Musioli, who is the head of our unhoused population, and suggesting a community, there may be some community cleanups that could take place, but she would probably be the person to ask about that.
So I work at the soup kitchen, and, we've been in crisis levels now for a few years, and it's not getting better. And, for example, I understand, I don't know who did it, but we have clients who have been trying to negotiate. I mean, they have no place else to live, so they're living in their car. Some of them have had their cars towed out of the parking lot across from the shelter, which is not helpful because it provides a temporary fix for the city, but it also puts them in arrears. I mean, you get towed. It's a big bill.
When you say the parking lot across from you mean on Spring Street?
Yep, the one near the courthouse. Now, it's never been an issue before. Suddenly, everybody's getting towed. and parking is very tight in that area, and I'm just waiting for the first time we have to pay the towing bill for somebody who's just volunteering at the soup kitchen. So that part is like not helpful. And I have to really ask, where are people supposed to go? I mean, there is no housing virtually available in the city for under $1,600 a month. You know, we're processing vouchers as fast as we can when we get them, but the whole problem is you have a voucher, if there's no place available, you're in a shelter and the shelters are full. We have had people call from out of state and ask to make a reservation. And I am not joking. I mean, this happens on a daily basis at the soup kitchen. So we need more housing. We don't need market rate housing. We need more housing big time. I mean, we estimate there are at least 250 chronically homeless families, I mean people, and some of them are families and some of them are not, in the city proper. And when housing costs are as enormous as they are, and people's cars are being, quote, cleaned up on Salina Avenue and stuff like that, and I completely get why people don't want them in their neighborhood, but I have to ask, in all fairness, what are people supposed to do? We have people, I was coming out of the soup kitchen last night, I got stopped by a woman in her 20s who had no place to go. And I said, you're going to have to go to the shelter and see if they have a bed available, because I don't know. And fortunately, the Nashua police happened to be making their rounds, and they gave her a ride. And it's not that far a walk anyway, but she had literally no place to go. This is happening more and more and more in this city. And we have, at this point, what do we have? 3 homeless shelters, and there are not enough beds. So we can clean it up. I mean, I stopped at the library early one morning, and these people said, what are you doing here? I said, I'm just looking at the porta potties. And they said, this is where we get ready for work. These are homeless people who are working full-time, who live in their cars somewhere in the city, and they move around because they know they shouldn't stay in one place, and they use those porta potties to wash up for work. That's a really heartbreaking thing to see. And these are people, you would not recognize them as homeless if, you know, they're clean, they're well-dressed, but they have no place else to go. So I think, and I appreciate the encampment meetings, I was at them for a long time, we have to come up with a better solution. I mean, we can build another shelter, but the problem is once they're in the shelter, they have to be put on a path of self-sufficiency, which means case managers and people to teach them how to do things. And a lot of them are going to need to be permanently sheltered because they have mental illness. So I don't know what the answer is, and I appreciate it. I sat next to a woman in Coffee and Kindness today, and she told me she will not walk downtown because she's afraid of the homeless. I said, the homeless people are really not going to bother you. You know, they may ask you for a handout. I said, but not most of them. So, you know, I can't say what the solution is, except a lot of housing at very good prices, and I don't know how that's going to happen. That's going to take federal money, and I don't think that's coming this way soon. So,
But on your first point, the parking lot, that's a state-owned facility, that
yeah,
courthouse. So
yeah, I know
if
the
things
city
are
doesn't
being
have
towed,
control.
it's probably the court system that's asking for that.
But it never happened before. I mean, and there was like a minute and a half warning. So they were towed. I don't know, Salina Avenue, all those people were towed as well, or told to get out. And the other thing is, I just have one plea, is that when people go into encampments, if they throw away people's documentation, that's a huge problem for places like the soup kitchen, because we spend a lot of time, effort, and money getting people documentation so they can register for services, so they can get food, so they can do stuff. And then if somebody comes in and just throws it all away without giving the people even 15 minutes time, we pay for that, not everybody else. We have to replace those documents as best we can. So that needs to be paid attention to when they, quote, clean up encampments.
Commissioner Lemon, are you on any of these conversations regarding cleanup of encampments?
Yeah, but we ended up pulling out of the homeless encampment stuff because we're dealing with it all the time in our own backyard.
Okay.
So, yeah, we're in on those conversations.
Just as long as that we have expertise from the soup kitchen at least to advise on some of these cleanups, because I would, like you said, I would be worried about documentation and process and
Right.
these folks getting to a certain point and then unfortunately losing it just based upon the
Right.
fact that we're
When we
trying to
had-
clean it up.
Yeah, that happened when they had the big cleanup at the end of Temple Street. We had people saying to us, you know, we were telling people, you're going to have to leave. This
Yeah.
is, you know, and to be fair, we will tell them they have to leave, and they don't believe us because they don't believe it's going to happen. But we would tell them, you have to get out now with your documentation because you need to have your documentation.
This
So-
is such a sad problem. Everybody knows this here. This is one of those, it's one of those challenges. Manchester ran into this a few years ago where the success of providing services to the unhoused unfortunately brings the problem more to bear.
Right.
Because more unhoused understand that you're actually solving the problem inside of a city, and so they'll go to that city
Right.
to get those services. And so the challenge becomes like the more success you have, sometimes the bigger the problem gets.
Right.
And I feel like this is one of those challenges that Nashua seems to be increasing, and I'm not sure. I haven't seen the numbers. I remember the numbers being about 100, like a year and a half ago.
Well, and unfortunately, to speak to your point, Commissioner Gregg, Nashua is in a uniquely strange position because when Massachusetts had, you know, they would say, if you are unhoused, you had priority for all these services. When they discontinued that because they ran out of money, people started coming to us.
Oh.
And they will come to us and they will say things like, we've heard this is a really good city for services. And we will explain to them, sometimes yes, sometimes no. It depends on what services you need. And, you know, we have 11 apartments in our shelter. And when one of them turns over, we have, you know, vast numbers of people who fit our criterion and could be, you know, moved into it. So, yeah, it's a national problem, and the housing is the key. I mean, it really is.
Which is also very difficult to obtain. So,
Yeah, it's a heavy lift. As I often
Yeah.
say, food is no problem, shelter is.
Yes.
But food's getting to be a problem, too,
it is, yeah.
Right.
as cost goes up.
All right, anyone else? Yes, Commissioner Shea.
So we've talked about the property ownership and the development aspirations and the challenges of the unhoused people that are here and that come here. This is a pathway. It's covered in trash. It seems a lot simpler than all of that to me. It seems like we've made this a very complex problem for a very long time, and it is trash that's on a path, and if we have a work plan and we keep up with it, it doesn't become a path that's covered in trash, and it doesn't feel like a space that no one cares about and would be perfectly acceptable to stop by every single night and drink a couple tall boys of Steel Reserve and leave them on the rock wall and whatever else you bring down there. So we can talk about the aspirations for the library, we can talk about all of these things, but at the end of the day, it's a path. And like, if it's city land and it's a space that we're inviting the public to, it should be kept clean. It should be just as clean as Greeley Park or Mine Falls or any other space that we love and it shows it. And we had a solution on the agenda tonight, it seemed like, it looked like, and it's no longer on the agenda. So we have a simple problem, we have a simple solution, and now we don't.
But I think we do, they're going to engineer cleanup.
Right,
Isn't that
so
the solution to at least in the short term?
it's crisis management, it's not a long-term solution. I've been down to that site at least 4 or 5 times over the years with a group of volunteers to clean it up, and every year it falls apart. And if we had a maintenance plan for the site, it wouldn't be this place where no one who isn't trying to find a shady place to sit and disappear, people who want to be out in the sun and walk around, are going to want to be there. Right now, it's a place where it's really inviting for people who feel like they need a place that they can go to that nobody is going to care about. So, yes, that's a solution to the problem that we have, the immediate problem that we have, but it's not a solution to why we have the problem. And I do believe that having a staff person who circulates the Riverwalk area and maintains the landscaping and has a bi-weekly circulation, picking up items that are out there and tossing them in a bin. The library director suggested that some of the waste bins that are compacting, having one adjacent to that trail in a place where it will hopefully be respected and utilized might also be of help. So I would just urge us to set aside all of the big ideas that we have for the space and focus on what's in front of us, how we can fix it, and how we can keep it that way. I'm hopeful. Can you speak more to why this was taken off the agenda? I was not privy to that.
Well, the thing that was taken off the agenda really was not directed to this.
Correct.
So the person that was proposed and which ultimately we will adopt was or is going to work on the park project, the riverfront project, west of the river mostly. So the idea was to, but as we were looking at the details, it became clear that the city has certain easements but doesn't have a lot of other easements, and so we need probably permission from landowners and all this kind of thing. But so it really, I mean, that person really wouldn't have been working on this problem. This is not the only site like this. You say that Mine Falls is pristine. No, there's a big site in Mine Falls. That probably needs at least as much work as this. And there's a lot of people living there. So, and there's Selena Ave, there's, other places. So, and we have not been asking city employees to go pick up needles and, all the kind of stuff that usually exists at these places. So when something gets pretty bad, we usually hire an outside contractor with specialized expertise to come in and clean it up.
So I didn't say that it was pristine. I said it was a place that looked like we loved it and we cared about it. And it is.
We get more complaints about Mine Falls than we do about this. So,
do you know how many people over the last 20 years have thought about maybe walking down there and walked down there and said, holy smokes, like this is horrid, I'm turning around? I don't know how many there are, but I can guarantee you that there are at least hundreds of people who have gone down there and been low-key horrified. And so all of that aside.
All right, well, the person that we were adding wasn't directed to this. So what you need to do is propose adding money to the budget, adding a staff of people, and then to the extent that
I think you're muted.
to the extent it is safe, they can go clean stuff up. But as of now, or up to now, we have not been asking city employees to clean up medical waste or needles or the kind of things that tend to be existing on the homeless camps.
Do you know if that section of the Riverwalk is in the TIF that would be funding this position that was on the agenda?
I don't believe it is.
It is.
It is? Are you
Yes.
su- Okay. I know the library is, but I didn't know if that was. Okay.
Well, I believe it's right behind the library, right? So,
Yes.
so the library, it's part of the library property. The library property is in the TIF, yes.
And
The TIF is running out of money.
I would personally not approve this position until the library walk, like, I would not support it until the library walk is included in staff responsibilities for staff that are funded through the TIF. I feel that strongly about it. And
But you really want city employees to go pick up this kind of stuff?
I would say
What if they
90
get, what if they get some disease from it?
I would say 99+% of the stuff that is there is non-medical materials.
All right, what about the other one?
Then the city can have a system that involves the health department and engages them in the process, but all of that is beside the point that this is a path that's covered in trash that could be picked up by a city staff person on a regular basis to create a space that is inviting, welcomes positive
I don't really
activity.
disagree. I'm just saying, this is not the only one. I mean, there are a lot of these. So if you wanted to just pick up, we're going to clean up this one and ignore all the rest, okay. But if you wanted to address this as a general problem where maybe you haven't run into mine falls, but a lot of people have, so we'd need more than just this one. I don't see how we could address just this one and ignore the others. I mean, how do we, I mean, we could, but I'd say the mine falls is a worse problem. And we've got one commissioner saying yes who deals with this all the time.
I think it's a good thing to potentially put on a future agenda to say, like, what would a citywide effort like this look like? I know it could be expensive. I'm not saying it's not, but I think that this is not, to your point, I don't think this is about one location. In the 90s, it was like my dad made it my responsibility to clean Library Walk. So I did that when I was a teenager for years. You know the parents. So I just know that there are areas, and even at the Nashua Scoop the other day, I heard somebody complaining about how Library Walk was unclean, and I actually looked at it and I was like, oh, it's not too bad. There's cigarette butts underneath some of the some of the bleach. I don't even know what those typing things are called that you sit on. But anyway, I guess my point is that I think we do have a maintenance plan in place to some degree, but it might be something that we can evaluate and look at maybe in a future point. But it feels like it's something that should be done a little bit more wider as part of the conversation, because I know of certain areas, we're just actually commiserating over Mines Falls, because we both go running in Mines Falls, and so we know what that looks like, and we know there are things on paths all the time, and so I know it's a very difficult challenge citywide, and so I appreciate the efforts that are being done right now, but maybe it is something that we could just look at and
But
talk
just to
about.
be clear, there are people out there from the health department all day, every day, trying to work with the people that are living outside and trying to find solutions for them. Now, they do not clean up after the people, but they often find solutions, sometimes housing, sometimes a job, but invariably, now there's someone else. So, yeah, I think they got 9 people off the street in like a month, but there's 9 more. But they are not cleaning up this stuff, the waste that's on the ground. I
Yeah,
mean,
Revine
we're
does.
getting complaints about human feces in the downtown area, okay? So we've got bathrooms, maybe we're going to build some more, but it's not like this one site is the only location. I mean, this week we get an email from one of the business owners, downtown feces. Okay, well, that's not an easy problem to address. Who's going to go out there and, I mean, people are cleaning it up, I guess, but, it's not a job that's within the description of the people who work for the city.
And for us, I mean, Matt was there, Lisa was there, we had a whole thing where we put porta potties out, right? We put porta potties out in, across from Bagel Alley. I think almost immediately, they were filled with needles to the point where you could not use them for their intended purpose without danger. So we moved them. We did this a few times, and no matter what we did, we had the same issues. So, and I respect what you have to say. Yes, it is a dirty path. I've been down that path myself and come across people sleeping. It's part of a whole network of both problems and of people trying to fix the problems, all of whom have a different piece of the pie. We have assisted on cleanups as soup kitchen staff. We call Revive if we know there's a problem with needles, because they are trained exactly on how to handle this. They have special equipment, right? And I don't even know if they're doing that right now, but.
Sansa used to do it too.
Yeah, and it's like.
They might be out of business.
They might be out of business. There's a big encampment behind Mill.
Behind where?
Hearts is in there. It's right next to where Bagshaw was.
Yeah, right.
And so that's going to be redeveloped. Those people are going to be looking for another place to go. So, and, I respect what you have to say. It's just, right now, it's just a path with trash. I got called into Jackson Mills one day, partly as commissioner, partly as a person who works for the soup kitchen, because they were incensed that they even had to look at the trash. And I understand that. I totally understand that. But also, the DPW doesn't have, they can't just whip up a certain kind of loader that can, easy as pie, pick up mattresses and things off the riverbank. And there are also different regulations that come into concern. We've had, the whole thing on Temple Street had to do with the railroads, right? Mm-hmm. So, it is a problem. And I love when we have volunteer days. You have to be careful, because people really get into it and they can get hurt. All kinds of things happen. So I do think we should have a broader conversation about this. But, one thing I've thought of is that we should have almost like park rangers, but they would have to be sent out in pairs, because sometimes it's safe and sometimes it's not safe. It's absolutely not safe to just wander around by yourself. The guys who run in Mines Fall, we get complaints once a week, as if we are personally responsible for every homeless person in Nashua and their whereabouts at any time.
Yeah.
So, and most people, do not drop trash everywhere they go. So it's a problem with a certain part of the community.
Do we know how much the crisis cleanup costs?
It's a lot.
This cleanup, I have not
I
received a
could
number.
guess 5,000 to 10,000 for a site. But there have been situations where there was a camp under the
Baldwin Street Bridge.
it was under the main bridge. I thought it was, there's Baldwin Street, but I was talking about the fire, the one
Yeah.
That was
on the Nashua River.
Veterans
Yeah,
Park.
Veterans
Yep.
Park.
Yeah, under the
Yep.
under the
Veterans
Veterans
Memorial
Memorial Parkway Bridge over the Nashua River. And it damaged the fire was so intense that it damaged the structure.
Mhm.
And that cost, I don't know, whatever, a couple $100,000 to fix. That cleanup cost a lot more. I don't know, it was I'm guessing, $30,000 or something. I think that had to be repeated twice. So these cleanups are just not someone just going in and, having a little garbage bag and picking up a few things. It's a little more, it's more complicated than that.
And expensive.
And
It's
expensive.
very expensive.
It would probably behoove us, after we get this space tuned up, to have a maintenance plan. You indicated that you think we might have one. I don't think we have one for this space. I don't think there's any department that has responsibility for regular care and maintenance of this space.
I know it's not Public Works. I'm not sure if there's somebody else, but it isn't
Well,
public.
technically, it's library property, but we're still confronted with a situation of there's a lot of drug users and there's a lot of dangerous stuff on the ground. And even if we had a maintenance plan, these people can't really deal with that level of debris.
I disagree. I think that we could come up with a plan to take care of general trash and come up with a plan to safely attend to any items that staff, would be at risk for picking up. I believe that we have a tax increment finance district that covers this space, that could fund a position. Perhaps we look to have 2 people. I know that the Jackson Falls section of the Riverwalk requires maintenance. And I think that we've talked about a lot of complex stuff. I think that there are very real costs to, like financial costs and costs in terms of the ability to enjoy public space. I think we're spending $20 million, I don't know, on this Riverwalk. And if we can't spend $120,000 a year for the staff to maintain it, all of it seems to point to we can, and the question is whether we will come up with a plan to have staff go down to this site.
Well, there's not enough money in the TIF to do this. So if I were a commissioner and I wanted to do this, I would propose adding $250,000, $500,000 to the budget so we can have a special, we can repeatedly hire a specialized team to do these cleanups. I mean, the problem that we face with the homeless situation all the time is everybody wants a solution. They want this problem gone, but they never have a specific idea as to what to do. We want these people gone. Well, where do you want us to put them? Well, they don't never suggest that. So I think if you want these specialized cleanups, you need to propose spending the money to do so.
Will you fund it?
It's up to the, it's up to the Board of Aldermen, it's up to the.
And will you include it in your budget?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It depends how it affects the tax rate, but if someone wants to spend money on something, they need to propose it. And that includes aldermen, and that includes public works commissioners. So if you think you want to complain, okay, great. But if you don't like the fact that we don't have the staff level to cover these things, you've got to advocate that we spend money. And maybe maybe you'll sell people and maybe you won't. But just complaining doesn't get anywhere.
So there's a position right here.
But that was not intended for this side of the river at all.
But here I am saying that this is what I want. This is what I'm advocating for. And I think that we can have a discussion on that next month.
Well, you got to propose
Should we
something.
include this on the
You
agenda?
got to propose something more than this. And this person is not the type of person that could go out and pick up needles and medical waste.
Do we have a specific individual person?
To do that? No, we don't.
No. I mean, for the position. Someone who would have a grabber and a bag and pick up cans and paper. That's what I'm asking for.
Well, you better propose putting something in the budget then. I mean, Paul, this problem has existed for months. It existed the last time a budget
existed
came.
for years.
Years. So why didn't you propose something the last time the Board of Public Works budget came up?
I was down there cleaning up.
Okay, fine. But if you want a regular crew, it requires money, and not a small amount. So you need to propose it.
So, do we have funds in the TIF to fund the position that was on the agenda?
Yes.
Okay.
But it wasn't intended for this, even this side of the bridge. It was totally a west side job. To cover the area that's being improved, the park, the river walks and all that. It was to help care for those areas.
So a 40-hour per week position to take care of
Is probably
fully, newly, hardscape
It's probably not
landscape
enough to even do
space.
the west side.
I disagree. And I think that maybe it might be 1.5 people full-time over the course of the year
There's not enough money in the TIF. You've got to propose adding money to the budget.
Okay. Then I will do that. If this,
I mean, we can come up with an estimate. What would it cost to have a crew that would go around the city and clean up medical waste and
Human waste.
human waste and needles on a regular basis? Would it be good to have that? Yes. Yes, it would. It would make things a lot better. But this is not going to be an inexpensive exercise. So it would make things a lot better. It would make the, you know, the Board of Aldermen, who has to pass these things, is subject to certain constraints. The tax rate's going up 6%. Now, this could add to that, which is a lot more than people really want. So this is not a small thing, have someone go pick up with a grabber. If you want to deal with these problems citywide, it's going to cost money, and it's going to cost a significant amount. And we'll come up with a plan and give you a cost estimate.
that doesn't work for me. I feel like if your house is on fire, you don't call somebody to come and manicure the bushes so they look better.
I don't even understand what you're talking
So
about.
it's a metaphor, and basically, we have a river walk. A section of it looks like an
But
absolute
are you
war
saying
zone.
that you don't think it would cost money to clean?
No.
So you want us to focus only on this site and not all the others?
I think we should prioritize the largest problems.
Well, that is Mine Falls. That's not this.
Not in the tax increment finance district.
There's not enough money to pay for this in the tax increment financing.
There's money for a position, and we're paying for a position to manicure the bushes when we need somebody with fire
All
extinguisher.
right, well, I think we should move on. If you, all I can say is that if you think more money should be spent, if you want us to come up with a plan to clean up medical waste, human feces, and needles at these various sites, we will do it, and we'll show you a cost estimate. Yes, Commissioner Gray.
Can we do that?
Sure.
Because there are some other sites on my mind that I would like to see.
Yeah, we can do that.
Right.
I mean, it would be an interesting thing to know, right?
Yeah. it would be.
I would also like to know what it would cost to simply have someone patrolling and picking up regular trash. I think that looking at those two things.
In this site or citywide?
In this site.
Just this one?
I
So
asked-
this is the only one we should be
This
concerned
is the
about?
one that I asked for on the agenda tonight. So
It
that's what I'm
wasn't-
talking about.
Well, it wasn't on the agenda.
It-
This had nothing to do with the site you're talking about.
There's a section in the administrative department for discussion on the library section of the Riverwalk. That is what
Yes,
we're talking.
but the position was on another section of the agenda, and it had to do with a totally different issue. So what we removed from the agenda had nothing to do with this. So we could come up with a plan to have someone go around with as you said, a grabber, pick up things. But do you want just this site, or do you want citywide?
As far
Is it
as-
only this site
As
you're
far as the
concerned?
tax increment finance district goes and the use of
But
its
there's no
fund,
money for this.
I think that you're making it more complex for the sake of not having a solution. That's what it feels like to me right now.
And what it feels like to me is you've seen this site, and so you only want this site, and you're not worried about citywide.
No, that's
So
a,
if you want to do this
straw
solution.
man.
What?
That's a straw man. That's a
All
straw man argument.
I don't
we
see why.
I'm okay if we move on. And I've said what I have to say. I appreciate it.
So we will come up with an estimate.
Thank you.
I'm not going to be involved in preparing an estimate for only one site. So we will come up with a plan to do citywide site, and we'll come up with a cost estimate. Because if we're going to handle it in one place, we should handle it everywhere, including downtown, including the Mine Falls, and in the other places where people are living. So we will do that. Yes, Commissioner Gray.
Sorry, not that I'm trying to lobby for a location, but Merrimack River.
Yeah.
Well, we will,
I know,
if you
I'm
would come
putting it
up
in
with the various locations that you are concerned about,
We should.
we will
Okay.
include those on the list.
Do we give them to you, or do we?
And we will talk with the police department, and which knows where all these locations are, We will do with public health. They know where all the locations are. What would it cost to, on a regular basis, clean these places up? All right?
Okay.
Mayor Donchis, where should we submit this?
What?
Like, when we talk about like locations or gathering information, is this something that goes even through the Public Works, or is this an alderman issue? Like, how would you?
Well, we're going to have to do this. I assume we're going to need to work with Public Works and with the Health Department to come up with this plan and estimate.
Okay.
So, but
Yeah.
all you'd have to just tell Lisa or Bob.
Just, okay.
Just tell anyone.
That's really all I wanted to know.
The rest of the department.
All right, thank you.
All right. Now, where were we on the agenda?
Did you have any?
I just wanted to quickly, I do appreciate Commissioner Shea bringing this up. I think, I do agree with the mayor that I think, homelessness is an issue around the city, and I do think that, cleaning it up is important, not just to us, but also citizens the people who live here in Nashua, and because I think, we want to be able to enjoy some of the places that we have, but we also want a humane solution to it as well. We want something that's going to help the people there. So I think, I would love to see how we can figure out how we can help find the resources for this.
I can say if we did this, I mean, even though this is a difficult discussion, if we did this, it would make a lot of people happy.
It would.
I think so.
It would make a lot of people happy. Now, it wouldn't remove the homeless camps, but it might make them more sightly. All right. Where
All
were
right.
we? Director's report?
Yes. Okay. I just wanted to point out that the Pine Street pedestrian crossing is almost finished, and the RFBs were installed on Friday. This is a picture of Bicentennial Park. Moran's Landscaping is shown installing finished pavers on Monday, August 11th. We had some trees come down on August 2nd that the Parks Department responded to. This is on Webster Street. Epoxy flooring was done at Stella Stadium to both locker room floors. This was completed on August 5th. Several trees came down also on August 14th during a heavy thunderstorm that the Parks Department responded to. The 22nd anniversary of the Nashua Goes Back to School was a great success, and we assisted with that event that was held at the library. We provide coordination for vendors and movement and packing of the supplies and backpacks for the event and tables set up, that sort of thing. Centennial and Crown pools closed for the season on Friday, August 15th, and Rotary Pool closed on the 22nd. We had outstanding pool staff this year, and we really want to thank them for all that they did, battling some heat and some patron behaviors. They did a great job. Andy is officially retired as of last Friday, so this was our first Matt and my first week, and so far so good. We've had another camp year in the books. Our summer programs have ended. We want to thank all our counselors and contracted camps that provided such great opportunities for our kids. We're currently taking registration applications for our Babe Ruth baseball and softball programs. Registration ends August 30th. The street department crews are out clearing brush and cleaning off the sidewalk on Marshall Street. You can see the use of the mini excavator here to edge back the sidewalk because there was only a 2-foot wide path. This is another picture out of the street department on Marshall Street, cutting overgrown brush and cleaning the sidewalk. The street department also repaired a broken sidewalk with a new concrete sidewalk at 48 Concord Street. This is the old Holman press box. You can see the improvements that our own street department staff are making to try to restore it and keep it. So They installed a new roof, new plywood, and added some fresh vinyl siding. We installed a berm at 24 Wheaton Drive and 14 Logan Drive to help address some drainage issues and reduce flooding concerns. This is a repair of a double catch basin at the corner of Margaret Circle and McKenna Drive, again ensuring proper drainage and improving roadway safety in the area. 2 new digester sludge transfer pumps were ordered, and the mechanics at wastewater are working on the installation. Continental Paving was on site at the wastewater treatment plant to repair the parking lot after the dewatering upgrade. Laboratory staff, with the help of interns, completed our Q3 sampling of the river. National Water Main completed cleaning of the North Merrimack Interceptor as part of the dry well upgrade. And residents with hazardous waste to dispose of can attend the next household hazardous waste collection, which is in Pelham, New Hampshire, on Saturday. No, wait a minute. This is an old slide. Okay, so this is actually the next one is going to be on September 27th from 8 to 12 at 25 Crown Street. I'm not sure why this was in here, but okay. The Fort Hills landfill will be closed for Labor Day on Monday, September 1st, so all curbside collection will be delayed by 1 day for that week. And that's it. Oh, and I did want to, Commissioner Shea had a question that I just wanted to, that was a great question that I just wanted to answer. So it was regarding the Big Belly compactors on Main Street, and we've had them for quite some time, and we used to pick up every day on Main Street. Now we are only picking up 2 days a week. So that's really great. So Tuesdays and Saturdays are the days, and
So they'll pay for themselves in like 14 months.
I haven't done that math, but maybe you have.
Yeah, at the behest of people online. So, but yes, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is. They are doing the job that we had hoped. And I should also note that not all of them need to be emptied, but since we're there, we do empty all of them. But there's enough of them that need to be emptied that we do it twice a week.
So 2 days down from 5 or 6?
6. 2 days down from 6.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you have any sense in terms of whether or not the streets are cleaner because of them versus what we had out there before in terms of receptacles?
Well, I haven't done a real analysis, but I'm sure that they are, because we would have the overflowing barrels that would be, and the trash would be blowing everywhere. So I would imagine, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
That would be the case. But I haven't really.
We'd love to hear anecdotal stuff, because there are a lot of questions around the cost, and so anything that we can provide from that perspective, I think is going to be huge. So.
Yeah.
So.
We had a lot of problems with trash just all over the place, and so this is definitely going to help. But we'll observe that a little more closely and give you some feedback.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right, commissioners' comments. Any commissioner have comments beyond what we've already commented on? Yes.
Oh, I had a question from a constituent in Ward 3 living at the condos at the very end of Lock Street, and he just wanted to know when that street is going to be paved, because they've had tons of construction. You know, they have new condominiums right after where BAE is, the back end of BAE, and if you go down that street, it's really in bad shape. And so he wanted to know when that was on the paving schedule. And the other thing is, what is happening with the sidewalks on Lock Street? Because I know there was the whole thing where there was a grant, and so people are asking the question, when, what?
So I'm sorry, the street, was it Lock Street that you were talking about paving?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll look into that for you.
Thank you.
I don't know that off the top of my head. As far as the sidewalks go, it's the most frustrating project because it's going on forever, and it's been tied up with DOT and federal funds.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful, though, that...
It's in design, though, isn't it?
It is in design, and I'm but... Yeah,
so what it would
we've been
do...
talking about
Even
this a
that
long
is federal
time.
funds.
So-
Is that held up, or is are the funds for design and the public input period, is that all still like good?
Yeah, that's all still, we still do have the funding, yes.
Okay.
It just takes forever to get through the process. But I think it should be soon. I think hopefully within the next couple of years, we'll be able to do that project.
Okay.
But I will take another look at that, Commissioner Lemon, and get back to you to make sure.
And I have one other question. I gave the commissioners, I don't think Maddie got one, Commissioner Gregg did not get one, the mail from Ida. And I don't quite know how to answer her, because, you know, it's a reasonable request that we have more pickleball courts, but then we find out that she's been kicking people off the courts at New Searles, and that she has set up her own sign-up sheet electronically, so that people, when people show up at the court, she'll say, well, did you sign up? And they'll say, what sign up? You know, there's nothing on the city website that says, you know, you have to sign up to play tennis or you have to sign up to play pickleball. She tells people, and it's her own site. She has it. So I know there's a problem. I'm not sure how the city would like to address this. I mean, I'm very happy to write back to her and say, but I'm not going to tell her we're going to put in more pickleball courts, especially if she's kicking people off the tennis courts at New Searles, and she doesn't have the right to do that.
So we do have, pickleball has just exploded in popularity, which is awesome. And so we have added, you know, we have Shady Lane, and we have Fields Grove. So we've added quite a few. There has been a push by some in the pickleball community to convert our tennis courts at Sergeant's Ave or in Greeley. You know, I'm reluctant to do that because there are still folks that play tennis, and so, you know, we would hate to take it away. But what we do have is we do have kits where those tennis courts could be converted to pickleball. So if folks want to play pickleball in the tennis courts, they should contact DPW request, and we will allow them to use the net so that they can convert the tennis court into, because they can just use half court for pickleball.
Okay.
So, and we have the nets and everything that can be.
So I should direct her directly here?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we could add pickleball courts. In fact, Megan Karen at the mayor's office was talking about potentially adding some, so we are talking about that and looking at other locations, and I'd love to do that. It's just a matter of funding. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, any other commissioners' comments? Personnel. Item A, Commissioner Gregg.
I motion to approve and unseal the non-public minutes for we're in personnel, right? Yeah, unseal the non-public minutes for personnel from the Board of Public Works meeting of July 24th, 2025.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Non-public session, Commissioner Shea.
I move by roll call that the board go into non-public session pursuant to RSA 91-A 3(2)B, the hiring of any person as a public employee.
Could you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Shea?
Yes.
Commissioner Lemon?
Here.
Commissioner Gregg?
Yes.
Commissioner Speedia?
Yes.
Mayor Donches?
Yes. So we're going to go into non-public.
be in public?
Yep.
Okay, we're good.
Commissioner Shea.
I move by roll call to seal the minutes of the Board of Public Works Personnel Non-Public Meeting of August 28th, 2025, until such time as the majority of the board votes that the purpose of confidentiality would no longer be served.
Could you please call the roll?
I'm sorry, Commissioner Shea,
Yes.
Commissioner Lemon,
Here.
Commissioner Gregg,
Yes.
Commissioner Speedio,
Yes.
Mayor Donches.
Yes, motion passes. So I believe we've completed the business. Commissioner Gregg, would you like to move to adjourn?
Oh, yes. Oh, I was like, how's everybody doing? Yes, I motion to adjourn.
All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 And the meeting of the Board of Public Works is adjourned at 5:29 PM.
Next meeting.